Last time, we left Hull and Steve engaged in battle, with Hull getting the best of Steve. Can Steve defeat Hull in this battle? Because unlike Steve, Hull is ruthless, and he doesn't care who he hurts or who he kills. Hello, Level 6 agents. This is OSI Intelligence, and this time we're considering issue number 6 of the Bionic Man, and this one is titled Fight Night. So let's dive into this issue. Hull looks down at Steve, and he says, "Come now, you didn't think you were the first off the assembly line, did you?" Steve stands up and gives Hull a low kick. He says, "Nope." At that moment, a group of policemen run up to Hull. "Freeze! On the ground! On the ground or we'll..." Hull looks at them and says, "Open fire already." The policemen fire their weapons at Hull, but again, no effect. The bullets just ricochet off of his body. At that moment, Hull picks up Steve, holds him above his head, and throws him at the officers. "Steve, what the hell is going on there?" Oscar says. Hull jumps way into the air. Steve says, "Who the hell is this guy?" While in the air, Hull detaches a chandelier from the ceiling. It comes hurling down, threatening to kill the policeman. Steve quickly gets to his feet, grabs a table, and throws it up towards the chandelier and catches it in midair, averting the danger away from the policeman. Steve says, "Are you guys all right?" "We'll be okay, but what the heck is that thing?" "Don't worry about it. He's not your problem." Steve jumps out of a 4-story window and lands on the street. He looks up only to see Hull trying to get away. And then Steve hears the noise, clicking noises of guns behind him. He turns around, and one of the SWAT team members says, "Freeze! Put your hands up." And Steve says, Hey, wait a minute. I'm not that guy. Fire!" The SWAT team fires their weapons at Steve, but the bullets ricochet off Steve. Steve gets up, a little dazed, but unharmed. Steve gets up and jumps to a higher vantage point to search for Hull. He uses his infrared vision to try to get a fix on him. He sees that Hull has went down into the subway system. He runs down after him, but when he gets there, Hull is gone. No, Steve says. At that moment, Hull comes crashing through a wall behind Steve, and they both go hurling towards a wall. Hull throws a punch at Steve. Steve ducks, and Steve responds with an uppercut of his own. Hull grabs a piece of the wall and smashes Steve right in the face. Oscar, Margaret, and the rest of the team are looking on as Steve and Hull do battle. Oscar says, reading some slight internal injuries, but his processors are intact and functioning at peak. "This is out of hand," Margaret says. "He's exposed himself and jeopardized the program. It may call for the failsafe." Oscar turns and looks at Margaret. Are you out of your mind? He's fighting for his life, Margaret. And you would put him in that position? Just give him a few more minutes." Steve draws back and punches Hull with everything that he has. Hull responds in kind by kicking Steve, and Steve goes flying up, hits the ceiling, and then lands on the ground near the people. Hull walks over to the rails of the subway train. He reaches down and grabs both rails up with the train coming. Steve looks over. He says, "No." Hull then runs away. Steve looks at the crowd and he says, "Get the hell out of here, now! Get back! Get..." Everyone starts to panic as the subway car runs off the rails that Hull destroyed. Steve now knows that the upper limits of his strength will be tested as he tries to save innocent lives. Steve puts his hands out and catches the oncoming train. Steve digs in, with the train pushing him closer and closer to the wall, with 2 innocent victims behind him. And at the very last second, Steve digs in with all he has and is able to stop the subway car, saving everyone on it and the 2 innocent lives behind him. Steve turns around and says hi. The woman looks at Steve and says, "Hello." Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. Oscar is rubbing his forehead, and he says, "Thank God." Margaret gets on the comms, and she says, "Bring him in, one way or another." Back at the subway station, everyone is getting off the train, in shock, but everyone's okay. The woman turns to Steve, and she says, "I don't know how you did it, but thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so..." The woman stops in mid-sentence. She looks over and sees Steve's exposed bionic arm. "Oh my God," she screams. Steve says, Whoa, it's okay." The lady screams and she runs away. Then the crowd starts to surround Steve and look at him. "What are you looking at?" he says. Everyone still stands and stares in awe at Steve. "What are you looking at?" he says. Then people start talking. Is that for real? Like something out of the movies. A superhero. Look how fast he's moving. He's some kind of cyborg. Is it human? Just then a group of policemen run up. "Shouldn't we, stop him?" And one of the policemen look up as Steve jumps in the air. He says, "Yeah, sure." Hull walks into an airplane hangar with Vernadsky standing there. Vernadsky asks, "What took you so long?" Hull says, "I ran into an old friend." "And my uncle?" he asks. "Dead." At that moment, Hull's henchman walks up behind Vernadsky, hitting him from behind, thrusting him to the ground, breaking his neck. "Dead, just like you." Hull turns towards his henchman. He says, "Throw it on the tarmac. I don't want any of his parts." Hull sits in the pilot's chair of the plane and starts to take off. The tower says, "KL-37, this is National Tower. You do not have clearance for taxi or takeoff." "KL-37, do you Hull doesn't care. He takes off anyway, causing another plane to run off the runway. Tired out from the day's events, Steve comes to a place that he knows all too well. Jamie's house. He sits there and stands at the place where the woman he loves lives. At that very moment, a car drives up, and Jamie gets out of the car. And Steve says, "Oh God, Jamie?" That will do it for issue number 6, agents. Looks like Hull got the best of Steve this time in this battle. Come back next time for issue number 7, and we'll see how it goes between Jamie and Steve. And until next time, let's keep it classified.